The moment itself is quiet. No explosión. No warning. No sign in the sky. Men simply cease to exist. Across the planet, in the same instant, every male human vanishes. Bodies do not fall. Clothes collapse to the ground where people once stood. Cars roll driverless for a few seconds before crashing. Beds are suddenly half empty. Conversations stop mid-sentence. At first, no one understands what has happened. Then panic erupts. Hospitals are hit immediately. Operating rooms lose surgeons. Ambulances lose drivers. Emergency calls flood systems already breaking under shock. In some places, entire medical teams disappear in a blink. Airplanes fall. Pilots vanish mid-flight. Commercial jets crash within minutes. Helicopters drop from the sky. Air traffic control loses half its staff instantly. Global aviation ends in catastrophe. Transportation collapses. Millions of vehicles lose drivers. Trains derail. Ships drift without crews. Ports fall silent. Roads become fields of abandoned metal. Infrastructure fails unevenly. Power plants lose engineers. Nuclear facilities enter emergency shutdowns. Some successfully, others not. Oil rigs lose crews. Mines collapse. Industrial accidents cascade across the world. Governments are decapitated. Presidents, ministers, generals, legislators, many disappear instantly. Entire chains of command break. Military units lose officers. Nuclear command structures are tested under unprecedented stress. In the first hours, survival is chaos. Women search for husbands, sons, fathers. Children scream in empty houses. Elderly people are left alone, unable to care for themselves. Millions die not from disappearance itself, but from the sudden absence of people they depended on. Society loses roughly half its workforce. Not evenly, not smoothly. Men were disproportionately represented in physically dangerous jobs. Construction, mining, energy, transport, heavy industry, waste management, emergency response. Those systems collapse fastest. Power outages spread. Water treatment plants fail. Sewage backs up. Garbage accumulates. Fires burn unchecked in industrial zones. Cities become dangerous within days. Psychological shock is overwhelming. Grief is universal. Nearly every person has lost someone. A partner, a parent, a child, a friend. There is no space to process it. The loss is too large, too sudden, too complete. Crime initially drops, not because society is safer, but because people are stunned. Fear replaces aggression. Streets empty. Curfews are declared but rarely enforced. Then reality sets in. Food distribution falters. Warehouses are locked. Trucks are idle. Supply chains fracture completely. Supermarkets empty in days. Starvation begins in vulnerable regions. Women step into roles immediately, not out of ideology but necessity. They learn to operate machinery, manage power grids, repair infrastructure, run farms, pilot ships. Survival demands adaptation faster than training allows. Mistakes are costly. Accidents rise. Systems break. But there is no alternative. Science faces a brutal truth. Human reproduction as it existed is over. There are frozen sperm reserves, fertility clinics, research labs. But access is uneven. Logistics are broken. Knowledge exists, but scale is impossible. The question of humanity's future becomes unavoidable within the first week. Social dynamics change instantly. Dating disappears. Marriage ends as an institution. Family structures collapse and reform around new realities. Children grow up in households without fathers, not culturally but absolutely. Religions fracture. Some call the event divine judgment. Others see it as random cosmic catastrophe. Faith offers comfort and conflict. Different interpretations divide communities already under stress. The media struggles. Journalists are gone. Broadcasters disappear mid-sentence. Information spreads slowly, inconsistently, through fragments of remaining networks. Rumors fill the void left by explanation. And beneath the chaos, one horrifying realization emerges. This is not a temporary crisis. Men are not missing, they are gone. And humanity has entered a world it was never designed to face. A world where half of itself has vanished in a single instant. This is only the beginning of what happens when all men suddenly disappear. As days turn into weeks, the shock settles into a new and terrifying normal. The world does not end, but it reshapes itself around an absence that cannot be filled. Society stabilizes unevenly. Some regions adapt faster than others. Countries with strong social systems, education, and infrastructure manage to reorganize. Others descend into prolonged crisis. The loss of half the population is not just numerical, it is structural. Entire professions must be rebuilt. Women train relentlessly to replace lost expertise. Engineers, electricians, pilots, nuclear technicians, mechanics. Training programs become emergency pipelines. Skills once passed over generations must now be learned in months. Errors cost lives. Infrastructure fails repeatedly during the transition. Power outages, industrial accidents, and environmental disasters continue for years. But with time, competence grows. Systems slowly become safer again. Leaner, simpler, more resilient. Military power transforms. Most modern armies lose significant operational capacity. Heavy weapons and large-scale warfare become impractical. Conflicts shrink in scale. Violence does not disappear, but it becomes more localized and defensive. The age of massive standing armies quietly ends. Crime changes shape. Violent crime drops dramatically. Sexual violence nearly vanishes. But theft, fraud, and survival-driven crime increase in regions with scarce resources. Law enforcement adapts, often relying more on community-based systems than force. Economies contract, then stabilize. Global GDP collapses initially. Entire industries vanish. Advertising, luxury goods, some entertainment sectors. Consumption drops. Production focuses on essentials. Food, energy, medicine, housing. Growth is replaced by sustainability. A new economic philosophy emerges, not ideological but practical. Reproduction becomes humanity's central challenge. Frozen sperm banks become priceless. Fertility clinics are protected like strategic assets. Governments coordinate reproduction programs not as coercion, but as survival strategy. Birth rates are carefully planned. Every child becomes a long-term investment. Children grow up in a different world. They know men only as history, as images, as stories. Masculinity becomes an abstract concept rather than lived experience. Education shifts to compensate for the absence of male role models, not to replace them, but to acknowledge the loss. Psychologically, grief never fully fades. Every society carries collective trauma. Memorials are everywhere. Anniversaries are painful. An entire gender is mourned continuously, quietly, forever. Culture transforms. Art becomes reflective, intimate, slower. Aggression as a theme fades. Stories focus on survival, memory, and responsibility. Competition gives way to cooperation in many spaces, not out of virtue, but necessity. Politics becomes less performative. With fewer power struggles driven by dominance, governance becomes more pragmatic. Decision-making slows but becomes more deliberate. Populism fades. Long-term planning becomes central. Science accelerates in unexpected ways. Medical research advances rapidly in genetics, artificial reproduction, and lifespan extension. Humanity invests heavily in preserving itself. Ethical debates rage, but survival drives progress. Over decades, a new equilibrium forms. Humanity does not go extinct, but it becomes smaller, more cautious, more deliberate. The population stabilizes at a fraction of its former size. Cities shrink. Nature reclaims vast areas. Carbon emissions fall dramatically. The planet begins to recover from centuries of pressure. Yet something remains permanently absent. Not just men, but balance. Humanity was shaped by duality. The sudden loss of one half leaves a scar that never heals. Adaptation is possible. Survival is possible. But wholeness is not restored. The final realization is quiet, not dramatic. Humanity can continue without men, but it will never again be the same species it once was. It survives, changed, diminished, and forever defined by the absence that reshaped its entire future.